President Trump speaking at the FBI National Academy graduation ceremony today. But beforehand, he had this to say about charges of FBI bias in the Hillary probe. Rotate.
We're going to rebuild the FBI. It'll be bigger and better than ever. But it is very sad when you look at those documents, and how they've done that is really, really disgraceful. And you have a lot of very angry people that are seeing it.
This as a draft of former FBI Director James Comey's remarks about the Hillary Clinton email case shows his statement, the text of his statement that exonerated her, was heavily edited before he actually delivered it. Here's the original text. It reads, quote, "There is evidence to support a conclusion that Secretary Clinton and others used the private email server in a manner that was grossly negligent with respect to the handling of classified information." But that isn't what Comey finally said when he made his public announcement exonerating Hillary Clinton. Roll tape.
Although we did not find clear evidence that Secretary Clinton or her colleagues intended to violate laws governing the handling of classified information, there is evidence that they were extremely careless in their handling of very sensitive, highly classified information.
Now, his final statement also removed a reference to the, quote, sheer volume of classified information discussed in Hillary Clinton's emails. Let's bring in Trump Media Advisory Board member Gina Loudon. It's so great to see you, Gina. We need you on the story. Why do you think the language was softened and watered down? Why do you think that happened?
I think it happened because they had a desired outcome, Liz. They knew exactly what they were doing. The evidence to convict the people who were supposed to be collecting evidence about the whole Russian collusion theory, the evidence to convict them is by far more plentiful than any evidence that has come out of more than a year of investigations on President Trump. These are the people who should be investigated. These are the people who should be arrested.
You know, some would say they just have opinions, right? They are entitled to their opinions, and there's no indication yet that they jumped the shark and actively plotted against President Trump, right?
Well, I think that there is, actually. I mean, we can't try anything in the court of public opinion. I've been very outspoken about that with the Moore case. But my opinion on this is you look at things like the fact that the wife of a demoted DOJ person was actually paid by Fusion GPS, who were the creators of the Russian dossier, the fake Russian dossier in the first place. That's evidence, Liz. I don't know what else we need. These people need to be taken down for what they have done. And don't forget, too, that same DOJ official whose wife was hired was already demoted for concealing the fact that he had met with Fusion GPS. So this evidence is just mounting. And the sad part, Liz, I think this is the really sad part, is it puts such a distrust in the American people's hearts for, you know, our government officials that we should be able to trust, especially these government officials.
Yeah,
they should be above reproach.
The federal cops don't want to look like they're, you know, in doing politics and putting in the candidate that they want. I mean, the rank and file of the FBI hate being politicized because they want to catch the bad guys. To your point about the outfit behind the anti-Trump Steele dossier, it is called Fusion GPS. It now admits the wife of Justice Department official Bruce Orr, her name's Nellie Orr, did work at Fusion. Again, that's a firm that was funded by the DNC and the Clinton campaign that did opposition research on Donald Trump. So is there any way that her husband, Bruce Orr, could have been objective in this investigation? Again, government workers say they're entitled to their opinions.
You know what, Liz, let me tell you something. My husband was in the Missouri State Senate, and I remember companies approaching me, offering to give me jobs for things that my husband was voting on. Just because this kind of thing happens in politics all the time doesn't make it right. And no, he couldn't be objective. And now it's also been released that he was actually meeting with them and concealing that he was meeting with them. Why was he meeting with Fusion GPS? There is something very stinky here. This is exactly why the president says the swamp needs to be drained, and this is more pure evidence of it. And like you mentioned, Liz, it is sad because, you know, you take, just in police work, you take one bad cop somewhere, and it makes the rest of the good cops, who are largely good, look bad. I believe that most people there want to do a good job. They want to get to the truth. And they want to carry things out with ethical behavior. But this, everything points to the fact that that's not what's happening.
I want to get to this Newt Gingrich Gingrich quote. I need 10 seconds. Gina, the FBI statement also that Comey had also watered down. At first it said reasonably likely that Hillary's server was hacked, and then it was watered down to possible. Hillary Clinton was traveling as Secretary of State in 2009 with an unprotected email server. That's what experts have told us. The FBI agents told me that they were worried about that, Gina. She was going at that time traveling to Egypt, Turkey, and China. So that's the real issue. Was she hacked, and what information was stolen out of her server? We don't know. But we want to get to this Newt Gingrich thought. I want your reaction to what Newt Gingrich is saying about Attorney General Jeff Sessions. Roll tape.
You have here a cesspool of corruption covering up for the Clintons in a way which I would have to say as a historian is unimaginable. I do not know of any point in American history where you have this level of a system of corruption. At every level, this is undermining our system of justice. It is violating the law. It's very likely all of these people will end up going to jail. It's time for the Attorney General to step up to the plate and do his job. He has no excuse. As somebody who I know believes in the law, he has no excuse for hiding. He has to set up a Clinton investigation. He has to set up an FBI Justice Department investigation. This is his obligation under the law to enforce it and to protect the American people.
Your reaction, Gina?
Well, I agree with Speaker Gingrich that this definitely needs to be investigated, as I said. But I think the interesting thing is, do we know that it's not being investigated? Just because there aren't leaks out of Sessions' office, we're so used to leaks, I think, that if we're not hearing about it, we think it's not happening. Do we know that it's not happening? And I don't know the answer to that. But I absolutely agree with Speaker Gingrich that this investigation needs to be carried out, yes.
Gina Loudon, we love having you on. Come back soon, please. We look forward to it.
Love being on.